Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our final presentation for 2020. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you for everybody that has supported our presentation series in 2020. We've done many maker presentations, and this is our final one, a bit of an update on Jobmaker. Not job seeker, not job keeper, but Jobmaker. Just before we start, you'll notice my background, the Volkswagen Beetle, very famous car. I actually owned a Volkswagen Beetle for many years. I still do. It's an iconic car, very solid, and built in the 1960s, 70s and 80s in Mexico. It's only just stopped production. Obviously provided many jobs for many people. So I thought it was a great background to what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm about to go to our presentation and sit back and enjoy the last of our presentations for this year. So today we're going to be talking to you about the Jobmaker hiring credit, separate from JobKeeper. And as we work through, we'll understand whether you're eligible or not pretty quickly. It goes for about 10 minutes, so sit back and learn something new before Christmas. Okay. Just to letting you know, our standard disclaimer, it's of general nature. Please seek professional help if you need, and obviously we don't warrant the accuracy while we try to make everything possibly accurate. You're on your own in terms of if you don't seek professional advice. Obviously, this presentation has been brought to you today by Gartley Advisory. I'm Jeff Gartley presenting to you. And of course, if you need our help with any small business matter, please call us on 9597 9966. The commencement of Jobmaker is backdated to the 7th of October 2020. This Jobmaker scheme will provide eligible employers with the following payment up to 12 months, so it's only a 12-month payment, but you can apply over 2 years when creating or hiring the following type of workers. So it's $200 for hiring a worker 28 to 16 and 29, and $100 for those aged between 30 and 35. It's an employer payment. It's established for helping employers employ young people that have been unemployed. Probably the best way to put it. What is Jobmaker? Eligible employers will have access to Jobmaker hiring credit for each new job they create over the 12 months from the 7th of October 2020 for the next 2 years, for a maximum claim period of 12 months from the employment date of the new person. So it's from their employment start date. There's a number of things that the employer, before they can be eligible, must pass, and that's pretty straightforward. They need to have an ABN, which you need to be in business. You must have your tax lodgements up to date. We have seen a couple of JobKeeper applications refused because they were well behind in their lodgements, so just bear that in mind. Must be registered for pay-as-you-go. Obviously, if you're employing someone, that'd be necessary. And you must report through the single touch payroll system, which we're helping many of our clients do. The ineligibility is pretty straightforward. It's for those clients that are in liquidation, Commonwealth and state government clients, and those that are subject to minor things like the bank levy and the sovereign entities. They can't claim Jobmaker. But for most of our small business clients, it's an eligible option. There's obviously the employer eligibility, and then we've got the employee. And so really we're looking at people between the ages of 16 to 35. They must have started employment on or after the 7th of October and before the 7th of October 2021. So it's a 12-month opportunity, which you can take place of now basically. Must have worked or have been paid an average of 20 hours per week when they're employed in the Jobmaker period. And they must have given you a job-making hire employee notice. So it's a bit like JobKeeper. You can't have them. An employee cannot be on several Jobmaker schemes. So that's with another employer. So that's important to check that out. And there's of course the main requirement is to help those on various allowances from the government for at least 28 days to get back into employment. So that's another requirement. So it's not just to pick up a guy that's gone from one job to another. they have to meet one of these conditions. You need to basically satisfy a few basic headcount / day count situations. So it's like JobKeeper, you have to set the parameter and move forward. So we're just going to go through a couple of concepts here. First of all, we're going to talk about the employee headcount. Your baseline headcount is the employee headcount at the 30th of September. So that's regardless of when you're going into the scheme. If you did not employ any people at that date, you have a big fat 0 as your headcount. So that's the baseline employee headcount, and then we have the Jobmaker headcount. And that's obviously your total headcount for each Jobmaker period will be the number of employees employed by you on the last day of the Jobmaker period. This is called the headcount test. And the reason for that is they don't want you to chuck out the old and in with the new and not really employ any new people, but try and get the Jobmaker credit. So there's a couple of integrity tests in there. Okay, and what does this mean in terms of collecting the Jobmaker credit? So you need to have a greater headcount than your baseline credit. That's pretty straightforward. And if you don't have the headcount is not equal or less, then you just can't collect the Jobmaker. You don't pass go. It's like Monopoly. You end up in jail, and you have to you don't get the money. So Jobmaker has key dates again, just like JobKeeper, and you'll need to do the headcount and lodge the claim on those particular dates. So we're in the first period, which is 7th of October to the 6th of January, and we'll do a headcount test on that date. And then on we go for the next 2 years, depending on when you're into the scheme. So obviously the scheme will close off on a certain date, which is 6th of October 2021. But if you sign up on the 6th, you've got those periods to claim in the following year. So remember, it's a 12-month claim, not a 2-year claim, but you can actually be in it in the 2-year period because you can put an employee on the 5th of October and go into those next 4 quarters. So there's also this thing called a baseline payroll amount, and that depends on the number of days in the Jobmaker period that you're claiming for. For each Jobmaker period, the baseline payroll is the payroll expenses paid or applied in the same number of days that are in the Jobmaker period, ending on the 6th of October 2020. The number of days in the baseline period and the Jobmaker period being tested must always be the same. At the registration, you'll be provided the payroll for the 3-month period, ending at the 6th of October, and that's a 90-day period. So what we need to do is, in bold writing, your payroll needs to increase. It needs to be satisfied, okay? So your payroll expenses must have increased in the Jobmaker period when compared to the baseline period of the 6th of October. So let's have a look at the timetable again on the next slide. So there's your Jobmaker periods, and there's the number of days in each Jobmaker period. Look, when the forms come out, I'm sure it'll make straightforward sense, but at the moment, we've just got to remember the best way to think of it is you've got to actually increase your payroll to be able to satisfy those conditions if you're going to apply for this grant. How do you apply for a Jobmaker grant? Well, the easiest thing is just talk to us in January and we'll assist you. But if you're going to do it yourself, there's a couple of little tips. You can now register from the 7th of December and you can make your first claim on the 1st of February. So we get Christmas off into January and then we can register on the 1st of, we get our claim in on the 1st of Feb. If you're an employee, you don't have to do anything. Basically, make sure you fill out the form, and the money's not for you, it's actually for your employer. We've got a few members that are specialised in this area. We've got Thomas and Vicky and then Patricia and a few others, and myself obviously will understand it. So contact our office if you need help in that area. Here's an example. We've pulled an example of the tax office for you to have a work through. So we've got, if you had 5 staff at September 2020 and hired an additional 2 employees late 2020, your business can claim the JobKeeper for those 2 new employees, assuming the business and the employer are eligible. Your payroll must also increase compared to September 2020. Now, here's a variation on that example. If we have somebody that actually in December 2020, one of your original staff members resigns. Oh, that's bad luck, isn't it? And it could be either the existing Jobmaker or a previous one, or a staff member. And then the head count is decreased by 1. So we can't claim 2 for the credit, we can only claim 1. A similar baseline concept applies to the payroll. So if you employ new eligible employees October 2020, but overall your payroll remains the same or only increased marginally because the hours of your existing staff reduced when the 2 employees are employed, then the Jobmaker credit will be only additional payroll amount. That is, so in that period we could have claimed 8,960, but if your payroll only increased by 1,200, well, that's all you're going to get. So just bear that in mind when you're doing a bit of planning around this whole Jobmaker example situation. So we've got a few little questions that are coming up via the tax office. Can we claim JobKeeper and Jobmaker at the same time? No, sorry. You're either on Jobmaker or you're on JobKeeper. If you're on JobKeeper, you have to wait until the end of the JobKeeper period, and then you can start applying the following month. If you've got any queries on that, just obviously contact us and we'll check it out for you. What counts towards the 20 hours a week? Any paid leave, really, or paid work, basically. You can't have somebody on unpaid work, so you couldn't say, oh, I've just employed my son who's been on unemployment benefits and not paying. It must be all paid hours. Paid leave is included, but unpaid leave doesn't count. If you can rehire your terminated employees, they're eligible as well, providing they meet the criteria. So they obviously can't go off and get another job and then say, oh, we're going to put them back on. It's got to be, they've got to meet that employee criteria as well. That's about all we've got on Jobmaker. It's not a overcomplicated set of circumstances compared to, say, JobKeeper. But there's still a little few tips there that are worth working through if you're going to apply for this. We're going to finish up for the year on Tuesday morning, and we'll be back in January to help you. Wishing everybody the most pleasant and safe Christmas holiday period. Take it easy. 2021 is going to be a fantastic year. I can just feel it. Clients are telling me they're excited about getting back to work. We're back here, fully operational. We met all the COVID requirements and hoping that your business is recovering well as well. So we look forward to again seeing you in 2021 and offering you some great tips and a couple more of these presentations. And of course, if you need our help or you know somebody that needs our help, ring us on the Batmobile line 597-9966 or contact us via email or Facebook. Have a